podcast today, and every day we'll focus on issues that are important to small business owners and topics that are relevant to them. And today we've got a really special guest, a guy named Tony Trent, who I had the pleasure of meeting, I don't know, at least 6 months ago.
Yeah.
And we'll tell that story maybe if we have time. But I'll let you actually introduce yourself instead of me telling people what you do. So yeah. I'll let you do that. But welcome to the podcast.
Oh, thanks for having me, guys. I really appreciate it. And I don't know if I'll do this podcast justice, but I'm here in the hot seat. So
you can't do any worse than me. So it's all good.
So as Bob mentioned, my name is Tony Trent, and I am a business developer for a company called HP Legacy. And we are based out of Brownsburg, Indiana. We also have an office up in West Lafayette. We do a lot of work for Purdue University. But we do commercial buildings. We don't self-perform anything. In a previous life, I owned my own business for 18 years. I'm a accredited landscape architect and have a degree from Purdue University. And
Boiler up.
Boiler up.
Yeah. Sorry, and tweet. Yeah, so, it's all right. We'll let him in.
Or chirp.
Chirp. Is that what it is? Yeah. It's not tweet.
No, it's okay. Chirp.
And we may get into the details later about why I sold my business and decided to do something different. So
sure.
Yeah.
So tell us about HP Legacy. Just, tell us about what it is, who it focuses on.
Yeah. So we focus on building commercial buildings, either for professional dental offices. We build race team offices and buildings. We do renovations. We just finished a renovation in downtown Indianapolis for a sign company, and we do tenant improvement work.
Okay.
So if you need a building that you buy and you want to improve that, we are the people for you. And as I mentioned earlier, we don't self-perform anything, so we have all of our subcontractors that we use that perform that work.
Okay. And I'm obviously I'm at Purdue a lot, and so I see you guys up there. What kind of work are you doing right now?
Purdue? I mean, we're doing all kinds of renovations up there. It's not called the co-rec anymore, but when I was up there, it was a co-rec, so I still refer to it as the co-rec. But we're renovating that. We renovate all kinds of the science buildings and all kinds of buildings they want to improve on or make them more handicap accessible. And, the buildings can get older, and so they want to improve them. And there's so much expansion in Purdue and so much things happening up there that there's need to update some of those buildings. So we're up there doing a lot of those.
Awesome.
What are some of the trends that you're seeing in the commercial real estate area?
I'm seeing a slowdown, especially when it comes to storage. And there's still, it's not fair because Indiana is a unique state, right? And we have so much going on in this state right now. And I feel really fortunate to live in this state with the multi-billion-dollar projects that this state has never seen before.
Yeah.
And so we're in a unique situation, but there is a slowdown in a lot of storage facilities. I think they just overspec that and built too much. And so we have so much of that on the market right now.
Like personal storage or warehouse?
Warehouse storage.
Okay. Yeah.
Warehouse storage.
The big industrial
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Near and dear to my heart of Whitestown, Indiana. Where you can't throw a rock and not hit a warehouse.
One of the things that amazes me, you're driving between Columbus, Ohio and Indianapolis on Highway 70. And there's multiple, hundreds of millions of square foot of empty warehouse space.
Yeah. So the people that have deep pockets will be able to flush that out. But, and I think we're going to see some commercial space when loans come due and the rates get changed. I think that's going to be a segment of the market that we're really going to have to figure out. And I think we're not done with some of the banks not being able to float this stuff. So,
right.
Yeah.
So do you see a different use for those spec buildings, or do you think that the demand is coming for those with the right use, or what do you see there?
Yeah, I see some, uniquely the Marsh buildings. I don't know, those sat empty for a long time, and now they're repurposing those buildings, either making them pickleball indoor
and
churches, and so I'm sure they'll figure out a way to do that. I just think it's going to take some time.
Yeah.
And, from a small business standpoint, obviously, one of the things I always hear is, I'd like a 30,000 square foot building. And at least in Indianapolis Metro, those are so hard to find. Right?
Yeah.
They're almost impossible.
Yeah.
So, but if I'm looking to expand, what would you suggest that an owner think about? What do they need to think about?
Well, I think a lot of times owners and people who want to build buildings don't think about the ability to capitalize on tax abatements or incentives.
Okay.
And also there's some pretty unique things out there that offer, like even for solar rebates. And at one point in time, I don't know if it's still the case, but you could probably get your whole roof put on for free if you were to put solar on.
Right.
And so I don't think that people just take advantage of that because they don't know about it.
Yeah.
And so that's what we are trying to do, is we're trying to be a team that we can offer everything to our customers and to allow them to think through the whole process rather than just say, hey, I want a building and I want 20,000 square feet. Well, hey, let's think about, do you have any other sites that you want to put this building on? Can we capitalize by going into the state and saying, hey, look, you're thinking about going to Ohio. What does that look like? And so there's just so many opportunities out there that people leave out on the table that they don't know about. And so that's kind of what we're out there doing, is trying to educate our potential customers and letting them know
there's more options out there than they may know.
Yeah.
No, that's a good way to put it. I've got partners that focus in, incentives and grants and those kind of things. And it's shocking that they never get explored.
That's correct.
And, there's strings, right? Some of them have strings and those kind of things, but boy, leaving money on the table when you are expanding and you do need this space is kind of crazy.
It is.
Yeah.
So you made a transition from business owner to business development. What's that been like?
It's been different. And it's good in many ways, and other ways that you're learning. And I've gone from basically being the man, if you will,
sure.
and having all the responsibilities from the day-to-day activities, sales, meeting with customers, and making payroll, and all of that. And actually going from an industry that I knew a lot about, because I have many years of landscaping and what it takes for that industry to make it work, to an industry that I'm learning about, and not having as much responsibility in terms of ownership, but which has been really good because I have less worries, which is really good for me. So
what would you say is the biggest change then from ownership to business development?
So for me, I put a lot of pressure on myself. And I want to perform. I wanted to feel like the owner of HP Legacy is getting the greatest value of what he's paying me for. And so that's probably I'm my worst enemy for sure.
Yeah. We talked about when you came in a little bit, just about, just did a bid, didn't win it, what that feels like.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you experienced that in the landscaping company as well. However, Size and frequency and the dollars involved, et cetera, probably feels just a little different.
It does.
And, elephant in the room, right? Yeah. Is it for every salesperson that's out there and every owner that sells getting told no, right?
Yeah.
It still hurts.
Yeah.
Right? It just does.
For sure. Absolutely. No one likes rejection, right? So, you just pick yourself up and you go to the next one and keep working at it, and you're going to land one. You have to shoot the ball many times for it to go in the hoop. So
there you go.
Yeah.
If you don't shoot, it'll never go in.
That's correct.
That's correct. Yeah. And just got to get more shots, right?
Yeah.
And that's, every, my good friend, Caleb Townsend, a factor. If you don't know Caleb, you should. They're a prospecting company. That's what they do. And same thing. You just have to keep shooting.
Yeah.
So
at some point you'll get something in for sure.
You bet. So who makes an ideal customer for HP Legacy? I know you do a lot of different things, but just think about what that customer might look like.
Yeah. The ideal customer for us is that we really excel in design build.
Okay. And for those that don't know what that means.
Yeah. So that means that we go in and we help you design the building. We hire the architects. We hire the mechanical people. We hire the civil people. We kind of control that whole project. HP Legacy has a little bit of a different philosophy, and And we're upfront with our customers.
Mhm.
Every one of them, we show them our price, we show them our margin. In fact, we give customers money back if we come in under the estimated amount.
Awesome.
And so we, we're super honest with our customers. And the owner of HP Legacy, Brian Schultz, he's an amazing
Awesome
guy.
guy. Yeah.
Awesome guy.
Good friend.
Yeah. And I've never met an owner like him before, because most owners want to just whatever we make extra, we're going to pocket it. No, that's not our agreement with you. We want to make sure that we give you a building that you want, and we come in under budget or within the budget. And we really have a unique situation where Brian has so much experience with doing this all over the world, building buildings. And he does an amazing job with making banks feel really comfortable. Because he's usually right on the target with pricing. And there's not a lot of change orders with our buildings.
Which from a banker standpoint, they love. Right?
They love, right? There's nothing worse than getting in the middle of the building, getting it all about
Hey,
3/4 of the way up.
Right.
And then you say, hey, look, we're off $100K. What's the bank going to say? No, right? So, and we've actually had banks ask us to do this for other construction companies for a fee. But we've turned that down.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
But I mean, obviously your personal story is, impacted me. I'm a Boilermaker as well. And so the shift from your own business to doing what you're doing now, there's a whole lot in the middle, right?
There is.
So if you want, I'll just let you share kind of what that journey was like and what was going on for those that don't know. I think that, story's compelling, and I'll let you kind of kick that off.
Yeah. When my oldest son, Tyler, was 15 years old, we learned that he has osteosarcoma, which is a rare form of bone cancer. And we went through that journey with him for 5 years. And I can tell I'm like getting emotional inside right now, just because the journey was so difficult and so painful. And owning your own business in that time frame was it was so difficult. I tell people I would go to meet customers with my sunglasses on because I literally cried the whole way there.
Right.
So that journey was incredibly difficult. And when he passed away on January 1st of 2019, I wanted just to quit.
Sure.
Right. But that's not who I was and how I was wired. And I think some of the tenacity and the strong-willedness of me passed on to my son Tyler and how he fought cancer. But I had a friend tell me, look, you don't do that. Wait a couple years. And it was really wise counsel, because I used my work to work through some of my sorrow and pain and hurt. It took my mind away from that every day.
You bet.
But in 2020, I had like the highest evaluation because my business we had our best year ever.
Awesome.
And I told my wife, Kelly, I said, hey, look, I think it's time to sell. And so I did. And it was probably one of the best decisions I've ever made. I was able to take about 1.5 years off, just kind of regroup, get on a sabbatical, if you will, and start to enjoy and love life again. Because I was in a spot that I absolutely did not like life.
You bet.
And a lot of good has come from Tyler's life. I mean, it's just, it's been amazing to see all of the good that's come from his life. And his vision was to basically raise money for pediatric cancer research, and millions of dollars have been raised in his honor. And he has endowments at Purdue and a research center that's now named after him.
Yep.
So I think about how what kind of unique company he keeps up there at the university, because there's not a lot of people have names named after them, and the people that do, you really respect, right?
Sure.
And so and then his book, The Upset.
Great book, by the way. Thank you for sharing that with people, because and it was hard to read.
Yeah,
it really was, but it was so good to read, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah, we wanted to be as honest as we could with that story, so people could understand one, the pain and heartache that kids and families go through.
Yeah.
We often say all the time that Tyler he had the cancer, but the rest of the family got cancer just from and we still deal with stuff.
Sure you do.
And the book is, most people don't even know he has a book. It's really interesting. And the book's won like 4 awards. You can find it on Amazon
or your website or Tyler's website.
Yeah.
And the title's called The Upset.
It's called The Upset. Yeah. It's kind of taken from when Purdue beat number 2 Ohio State, and
great game.
Yeah. And one of the best games I've ever watched.
Yes,
yeah.
Sir.
So.
And so obviously, exited the business. Spend a little time just talking about even what that was like for you personally. I know, you had a lot of stuff going on, but what was it like to let go of that?
I think a lot of people thought I would struggle with it. And I still miss it sometimes, but not often enough to ever want to do it again.
Right. Yeah.
Because I don't think people understand how difficult it is to own your own business. It's very rewarding.
Sure.
I mean, financially, it was very rewarding, and it is, to have your name on your own business. I mean, that is rewarding. And to see projects that we completed and created, I drive by the Colts complex and I say to myself, I did the entryway to the Colts complex, and I did Jim Irsay's private garden there.
Yeah.
So that's fun. But I haven't missed it. I'm a pretty high A personality, and obviously I need something to do all the time. And after I got all the projects completed at the house, I got a little bored, and everybody looks forward to retirement. And retirement can be awesome and fun, but I think, when God wired us to do things and to complete things and to be purposeful for our lives.
You bet.
And so for me personally, I need something to do. And so we're coming to HP Legacy was something that I felt like just fell in my lap, and kind of where God wanted me to go.
Okay. Tell us about the rest of your family, spouse, and the 2 kids.
So I have Kelly is my wife, and we've been married 29 years. And she has the privilege and the honor to basically raise our boys and stay at home with the kids all through their years. And then Tyler is my oldest, I should say.
Mm-hmm.
And he would be 25. And then I have a middle son, Blake, who's 23. And my youngest son, Ethan, is 19.
And Blake's on the Purdue football team?
No, yeah, Ethan is.
Ethan is. Okay.
Yeah. Ethan was a freshman last year and is playing football for Purdue, and we're so thrilled and honored to have him be able to do that, and just to be a part of Purdue at that capacity is pretty amazing. It's a quite an honor and privilege for sure.
You bet. And as a Boilermaker on the outside, to watch how Purdue surrounded your family, Tyler, everything, right? It was so good. I don't care, wins and losses and all that were, okay. And if people complain about things, none of that mattered during all that time. It was so good to see the Purdue family kind of just come out and surround you. Yeah.
And I think for me personally, I never experienced Purdue ever at that level. I was always the student, and then I was busy working my career and never got back up quite very often. And I didn't realize the amazing people that work at Purdue University. And I think that speaks to Indiana in general. I mean, you ask yourself, why are people coming here to spend $11 billion for a data center? And why are people spending an extra $5 billion at a research center and $4 billion in downtown at the hospital?
And that's a B. It's not a
we're a B.
Right?
I think the 3 largest construction projects back in the day didn't even make $1 billion, and when they built Lucas Oil Stadium. So, Purdue just to give you an example, and we took Tyler up there, and he said, "Dad, I don't know if I can do this." And I said, "Tyler, we're going to take it day by day, right? Just kind of life in general. We
Sure.
take it day by day." And so I took him to get a parking permit for his car because at the time he was on a crutch. And I walk in, and I'm not sure how this is going to go.
Yeah.
And the lady basically said to me, "Look, we're going to give you a parking permit, and if your son doesn't find a spot for him, we will make a spot for him."
Oh,
And I literally left there crying as a father,
Right.
because you have a child who's really sick, and people don't really know how sick he is. And they're offering a free place, and I'll park for him.
and we'll
They
make
said,
one for
"We'll
you.
make one for you. We will change the classes for you. If you can't get into a class, we will change it for you. And if you need a special dorm, we'll make it for you." And I'm thinking to myself, what university in the country will do that for you?
Right.
And this
The
is-
level of accommodation.
Yeah, I mean, and this is before they knew who Tyler was,
Right.
and before he made the big impact on the nationwide, and so it's unique, and I think it all stems from the leadership there,
Agree.
and who we are as Hoosiers, and so and they've been phenomenal. They've been phenomenal. So
Awesome.
Yeah.
Back to business a little bit, maybe, but
Sure.
what do you see happening in the rest of 24 and going into 25?
Well, I still think you're going to see a lot of construction happen. I think it's going to be more specialized, or, it's not going to be speculative anymore. It's going to be like, hey, we need this.
I really need this.
I need this. And we need this extra space.
Yeah, I know we were talking
Yeah.
about one where, they really need to expand, and it's
Yeah.
almost too late, but they
Yeah.
need to do it.
Yeah.
Sure.
And I continue to see the housing market. I mean, it's this economy. People think, oh, we're in recession. Well, and we're going to be in a 2008 recession, where you look at the numbers, and it's just not the same.
Yeah, it's different.
It's different, and there's an overwhelming need for still housing. And so I still think it's going to be strong. I mean, of course, people think that the interest rates are really high, and in my mind, I think the interest rates to have a healthy economy overall need to be at least at 5%.
Right.
The 0,
You get
1,
used
and
to
2.
two. Yeah.
That's just not healthy, and I hope it doesn't go back down there again.
Right.
Could they come down a little bit and still, be okay? Sure, but I think once people realize that we're not going back down to that level, or at least I hope we don't.
Not for a while, or not.
Yeah.
Right.
So they're going to continue. People need space, right? People need housing. And Indiana, like I said earlier, is in a unique situation. I still think we're going to be really strong here, on the coast, east and west coast. I think it's going to look a little different, but
Sure.
I'm thankful to be a Hoosier.
So do you think, when in all the discussions you're having right now with potential clients, what's are they hesitant? Are they worried about the rates? Cost of steel, you name it, right? We hear all I'll call it the hype, it, and some of it's real. I get it, right?
Yeah.
Just the costs are going up, right? But from a business standpoint, what I hope is the growth and, hopefully profit improvement and price increases and those kind of things all come with a benefit to the owner. So what should the owner be thinking about?
Well,
you'd mentioned that
yeah.
exploring options, but other things.
I think the owner should think about not worrying about interest rates and move forward with their business plans, because land is not going to get any cheaper.
Correct.
It's still going to land, never depreciates. It always appreciates. We're not having, you can't make more
Can't
land.
make more.
And so if you have a thought about wanting to build a building, I think you should continue to explore that for sure. We've seen steel come down now. It's it's leveled out. They did have a little bit of a raise in pricing, and pricing went up a little bit in the beginning of the year, but I think we're seeing it modernize out now, or level out.
Sure.
So, and I think, every concrete is the killer right now. Concrete is really high right now.
Is it the supplies that go into making concrete that have increased, or?
Yeah, the supplies in general have gone up, but the concrete is the one that hasn't really balanced out. But everything else is balanced out.
Why is it that concrete's staying where it is?
I'm not 100% sure.
I think it's a cumulative effect of the supply chain of concrete. So
Yeah.
you think it's heavy, right? It has to be moved. It has, think concrete trucks, diesel fuel. I mean, just on it
But they
every
have to
day.
extract, the stone to make the concrete.
Everything is
Yeah.
heavy equipment. Everything. So
Yeah.
I can imagine that compounding from the moment it leaves a mine somewhere, whatever it is, right,
Yeah.
all the way to the truck, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
interesting. Well, what do you want people to think about as they look at the rest of 24 HP legacy? What do you want them to think about? What do you want to leave them with?
I would want to leave them with the whole idea, and the thought is that if they're thinking about selecting a contractor to do the work for them, it's more than just price. It really is. It's about the people that are doing the work for you. And we hear time and time from architects, from people that we're doing work for, how our employees go above and beyond the call, and
Nice.
how superintendents will take phone calls at night, and how they treat people and respect people and want to pick up. Our superintendents are doing someone else's job for them. They don't have to do that.
Sure.
And how they want to make sure that HP Legacy is left with
All good.
doing what we say we were going to do. And so, I tell people all the time that there's three things that you buy when you buy something. It's price, quality, and service.
Yep.
But you only get to pick two of those. So which two do you want? Right.
Sure.
So, most of the time in America, we're always thought about, it's always about price, with Walmarts and Costco's and everything. But
Sure.
when you build a building, it's a different story. You're building something that's going to last for literally possibly 100 years.
Right.
And just even a different concrete techniques and how to build buildings and making them efficient and how we will, an architect may spec something out. And because of our experience, we may go back to the architect and the owner and say, hey, have you thought about this? And this is why we're doing this.
Sure.
And making the building way more efficient. And there's, examples that we could give you if you wanted to, but I don't want to get into that. But just think about that.
I mean, part of that's what you said is your secret sauce of doing that up front with the client versus just, I'd say it, giving them what they want. Yeah. Because sometimes what they want, they may not be able to afford, and it's not the right answer. So I love the fact that you do that for clients up front. So
we even price the building for free. We've offered architectural services for free. Not because we feel like that we don't have value, but because that's who we are, and we want you to see the difference you'll get because you're picking HP Legacy.
Awesome. I love it. Any other questions, Adam?
No. Yeah. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah. Thanks for having me today.
Really appreciate it, Tony. Very much.
My pleasure.
All right.
All right.